Hello and welcome to Wellness WOWday. I'm here and joined by the beautiful, fabulous Alex, who's going to share his fabulous story about the transformation of his life. So, of course, hopefully you have some fabulous insights here. And of course, if there's any questions, do throw them in the comments because we will be checking back. And Alex certainly will be answering anything that he can support you with. He can support you with. He can support you with. So, Alex, hi. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. As we've been chatting off screen, it's all great.
Yeah,
So
it's groovy.
we're here to talk about your Wellness Well Day. So the day that your well-being was hit, so that brick wall moment, and you had to make a change. So let's just kick it off. Let's tell us about your Wellness Well Day.
Wow. Yeah, it is a wild day. I had a number of those, which I think, sometimes people do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, well, I'll give you the short version. I grew up in Brazil. I came to the UK when I was 11 and, came from a very, very big family, but never really felt quite right. Always felt like I stood out. My nan had 13 children. I was like the 14th and always felt like I really stood out from everybody else. And I could never really understand why. And one of the things I always asked is, why am I here? What's the purpose to life? What's the purpose to living? Fast forward, until I got to about, I say 35,
Mm-hmm.
I had gone through various forms of addiction. I was addicted to food. I was addicted to sex. I was addicted to porn. I was addicted to alcohol. I was addicted to drugs. Pretty much anything I can get my hands on, I got addicted to because I needed to escape. I needed to numb. I wasn't feeling, I wasn't connecting with who I truly am. And I was lost. I was really, really lost. And what I did is I attached to various labels, like,
Mm-hmm.
my job, people pleasing
Mm-hmm.
and relationships.
Mm-hmm.
So I attached myself from everything externally that allowed me to get away from what I hated the most, which was me. And I don't use the word hate these days very often because I know how
Mm-hmm.
powerful that word is. But I truly did. I really didn't like myself to that point of hate. And because of that, I tried to commit suicide 3 times. I had 2 overdoses. And towards the end, my life was pretty much over. I was just living to die. I know today my life is so different that I wake up every single day and I share gratitude and I give thanks. And I'm so grateful just to be alive, just to be here, because I went from asking those questions, why am I here, to today just starting to understand why, just starting to kind of get to the grips of why am I truly here. And I learn, to value life. Whereas before, I say I was wasting it because I think that will kind of make sense to a lot of people where we are wasting life. We feel like we've wasted all these years, but actually I wasted nothing. It was part of my learn, grow, and development. It was part of me being here. It was part of me having this human experience. So, but at the time when you're in it, you don't see it. You don't see any of it. You're just in a life that I absolutely hated. I didn't want to be here. And I had a lot of rock bottoms, a ton of them. I really struggled with my mental health. I used, all of my addictions, which I described, to get away from reality, to get away from me, to escape the things that I didn't know how to heal from, how to deal with it. So all my emotional pain, traumas, which I didn't understand, I didn't know where to even begin. When I asked questions, through family and friends, and they were exactly in the same position. They didn't really know what to do with it. So often what we do, or what I did, is I just bottled it and stuck
Mm-hmm.
labels in there, and then, you know, bricked it up with mortar and steel, and, and put my barriers up, had zero boundaries. I had barriers instead, and lived this very painful and very lonely life. And this is being very honest, because I can cut my own BS. And I don't know whether I can or cannot swear, so I'll try and shorten things up. But I cut my own BS, and I understand that actually the truth of it is and as much as you know me as well, you know me personally, so I'm a big smiler, I'm very positive, and that's always been within me. So not to say that my life has always been crap and things have always been bad, because that would be a lie. I've had some great times. I've met some beautiful people. I've had some amazing experiences. I've got 4 beautiful children, and but the true me, these things mean nothing. Nothing. No job. There is no money. There is nothing on planet Earth, and I've had it, and thank God I have it. That none of these things today will fulfill me. None of them, unless I'm connected with me. These things will only give me those temporary solutions, which we call happiness, to just then, allow me to just get through the day. And then when I hit my head on a pillow, I'm like, oh God, I just want to be able to sleep. I just want to feel like I'm not a piece of shit. I just want to feel like I'm good enough. I just want to feel like I can give back. I just want to feel like, I can just accept who I am. And it was a moment for me when actually I was on Tinder, because I'm a drug addict, sex addict. I'm an addict of
Hey,
all sorts.
we've all been there. We've all been on Tinder. Is that
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And listen, there's a great story to this. So towards the end of kind of that addiction journey that I was going through, I was living to die and I didn't care. It was literally my fear and ego. That was what I was driven by. Fear and ego. So ego this high, self-esteem as low as it possibly can, but fear and ego drove everything with a sprinkle of happiness every now and then. Um, but to the root of my core, and I'm going to the stomach area, that kind of that chakra area, because that's our gut feeling, and the heart chakra, which was always for me, was I knew who I truly am, but I just didn't know how to connect with it because I was so frightened, I was so fearful. So me being on Tinder, escaping again because I didn't want to sit on my own, and I couldn't. So I'm scrolling around on Tinder, and I met my now wife, and it was such an incredible moment because I learned about her journey, her experience, who she is, and what she went through, her traumas, her addictions, and everything that she had experienced. I'd experienced the same, and it was mind blowing to me because it was that wow moment where I went, "Oh my God! Like you're literally speaking my language. Like how is this possible? Like this can't be possible." So we sacked off Tinder and we went on a number of dates, and I then discovered that I need to sort my life out. I need to sort my life out after having so many different rock bottoms and losing money, losing relationships, almost losing my kids and my family and friends. And I've lost pretty much, all of those things at some point or another. I was at that for me, when I got to that wow moment, for me was, I came into a 12-step recovery program, which is where my wife sort of introduced me because I knew I had a really bad drug problem. Um, but I didn't think I was an alcoholic, so I kind of came in and then I went off again and I bounced in and out, and then discovered very quickly when I put the drugs down how much of an alcoholic I am. So then eventually then came back in, and I remember she had put some boundaries in place because she was early in her recovery and she had to protect herself. And for the first time ever, I didn't feel rejected, because I always felt rejected in my family, in relationships, and also there was a lot of me part to play in this as well. So it's not like, oh, Alex, poor him. Absolutely not. I know the shit I was, in a lot of things. So I know where I've had to own up, to my behaviors. So uh, because of my behavior, she had to put a boundary in place because, she had to protect her recovery. She had to protect herself. So I did. She left, but one day, thank God, because I wouldn't be here today. Thank God I was in desperate mode. And it was that wild day where I was just broken, absolutely broken. And if she hadn't picked up the phone that day, because I tried a few people when a few people didn't pick up their phone, and I always say this, hand on heart, if I had a gun in a house, I would have shot myself. Like, that's how serious it got for me, because there was no living with this anymore. There was no more living with the pain. Like, it got dark, like it got bad, and for me, it had to get to that point, because I had two decisions to make. You either stay alive or you fucking kill yourself. Like, just get out of here completely, because the why am I here? That for me wasn't a choice anymore. I couldn't be asking these questions. I either find out what the fuck's going on, get a solution for this, or get out of here. Get out of here. Thank God. And I do thank God that she picked up the phone and she helped me through that evening. And then the next day, I went to a 12-step meeting and then went through the steps and stayed there. I in the 12th of December, I celebrated 6.5 years clean and sober from everything, and I've done a hell of a lot of healing, because of that as well. And my healing then just went off the charts. I learned about meditation. I studied with a Buddhist monk, and then I learned about breath work. And then I went into coaching, which is something I loved, learned about that for myself. And then it just went off, and here we are, 6.5 years later. I'm so, so grateful and so thankful to be alive, because I know why I'm here today. Is to share this knowledge, to share, this opportunity for somebody who is that desperate, who's at the end of their tether, to turn around and go, do you know what? This is my choice. Live or die, live. Trust me, live. It's worth it. Get the help, get the support, because the reason you are going through these things is because at the end of that journey, there is a story, there is a lesson, and a lesson so fucking big that it will blow your mind, as it did mine. And the lesson in that is everything that you have gone through, everything that I went through, all the pain, all the suffering, all the trauma, all the amazing experiences, all the smiles, the heartache, everything has brought me to this moment, to be able to knowledge share, to give something back to someone, to say, you will be okay. There is nothing. Trust me when I say this. There is nothing on fucking planet Earth that should push you to the point of actually you know, committing suicide, or wanting to end your life. Trust me, go through it, because there is a lesson. There is a lesson in that. And the only reason we don't see that lesson is because we're in the storm. We're still in the storm. We're going through everything, and the only thing that we can connect with is the fear, is the pain, is the depression, is the anxiety, is the stress, all of the things that we're experiencing in that moment. But when you allow yourself to slowly just walk, take one step forward every single moment, every single day, because all you get is that moment, eventually it will pass. And it does pass. Everything passes. Everything is temporary, which is why pain is temporary, suffering is temporary, happiness is temporary. But when you allow yourself to understand that the pain and the suffering, the reason we go through that, the reason we go through such heartache, is because there is such a huge reward at the end of that. And often or not, we tap out before we see the reward. And that was my wow day. That was my wow moment in just staying here. Just I gave it another day. I gave it another day. And I remember, sorry, I keep getting emotional. Just getting to the realization. And as you know, I work with breath work, plant medicine, and I've done so many different types of plant medicine. And every time the medicines have shown me different things. But one of the things it showed me every single time is that lesson. Go through the pain, go through the suffering, because this is who you truly are. And who we truly are is unconditional love. Unconditional love. And when you allow yourself to heal from that, and where you heal from that is acceptance and forgiveness. Forgiveness for yourself, first and foremost, because I blamed everybody. I blamed my mom. I blamed my girlfriends. I blamed the dad I never had, who then I met when I'm 32. I blamed everybody for everything, but never looked at me. never looked at me. I judged everybody, but never judged me. But actually, truly, because
Mhm.
I was judging everybody else, I was actually judging me. I was judging me because of everything that I was feeling, because I wasn't able to go through that healing, to go through the forgiveness part. And when I did, I broke down. I broke down into tears. I broke down into laughter. I broke down into anger. I broke down into everything. Everything. I went deep into my fears, the deepest part I'm imagining I can possibly go to
Mhm.
so far. But I've gone there and I've come out the other side and I've realized who I am. And when I was able to truly connect with that and able to forgive myself, because first and foremost, that what you have to do, you have to
Yeah.
forgive yourself, because all of the things that we do, all of the things that I did, was just simply part of the experience. And all it was is just me learning something. And when we connect with others, is we're both connected in that. We may not see it in this
Mhm.
experience, but in a higher level of consciousness, in a higher realm, we've agreed to do this. We've all agreed to be here. We've all agreed to go through these experiences. And when I learned that, I was able to forgive myself and go, it's okay. Just keep doing good work. Keep healing yourself.
Yeah.
And from then, everything else just
Mhm.
falls into place.
Yeah.
Everything falls into place.
And of course, one of the big things we do when you're in that much pain, you said you don't want to look at yourself. We look for the excuses. It's easier to blame someone else than it is to reflect on ourselves, because that means I have to face the pain. I have to actually say and own up to it. And it's actually, you haven't got the strength. So it's much easier to
Mm,
go, it's you. But also, the fact people come into your life for a reason. Sometimes it can be hard to listen to someone you love and care about, because as we've said before off camera, like people being close to you, the opinions, sometimes it's, not always as we want to hear, but
mm,
also being as the receiving end, if somebody's going, you need to do this, and you're like, no, that's not what I want.
mm,
The fact that you met Lucy and it was such, you were obviously meant to meet, because
mm,
there's something, she was supposed to come in,
mm,
and because you knew that brick wall was really getting cemented. Those
mm,
barriers were really going up. And as
mm,
you said, if there'd been a gun,
mm,
but she picked up the phone
mm,
because you're meant to be with us. You're meant to be
mm.
guiding the story. You're four fabulous kids. I can just see the emotions in your eyes and your face, and it's just like
Yeah.
I can feel every second of everything you do. So obviously, the roads was rocky. Let's call it rocky, because life is a roller
Mm,
coaster. We have these rocks, but yours was really, really rocky.
mm.
How has it been since in the last 6 years, since you're in this great place where you coach and guide each other now, but how have the last 6 years been since you took the 12-week the program, 12-step program?
Oh, tough. Tough. But where I made it easier for myself is I didn't give myself a choice. There was no more, oh, let's try drinking less, or let's try using less, let's try you know using porn once a week. There was no more of that bullshit. I couldn't do it anymore. It was literally, as I said, it was either one or the other. So for me, I and don't get me wrong, there is no perfection here in any way. I
Mm,
made a ton of mistakes, even in recovery. I don't like to call them mistakes, but lessons learned. You know,
mhm,
and I was still, you know, using porn. I was still, smoking a ton, and
mhm,
so, and with food is one that we have to eat.
mhm.
So my biggest addictions are ice cream, chocolate, cookies. I've got 3 tubs of Ben and Jerry's in the freezer. So, but I've learned to be mindful around those things, to work with
Mhm,
it. And the thing is, I don't want to starve myself and beat myself up, which is what I do. I want to be able to enjoy things. Forgiveness. It's
mhm.
okay. It's okay. I'm not a men's health cover model. I'm just a lovely man that is here to share messages and then to help others. If
So
I end
you've
up on
learned
the cover
portion
of Men's
control.
Health, I'm well happy with that.
So you've learnt portion control. You can add.
Well, some days. No, but I have. But look, it's not the perfect journey. It's just the journey. Because even here's the thing, and let this really sink in. Even when you get it wrong, that's when you really get it right. If that makes sense. When you get it really wrong is when you get it right. So fail. When I remember used to hear people say fail, and when you fail, fail big. And I've learned that. I learned that. I learned to fail big, and I've taken, risks on so many things. But from an emotional perspective, it was tough. I was on a pink fluffy cloud for a long time. And then eventually, I did the work and I didn't mess around, did everything that I was asked to do and more, because I didn't want to die. I found this new lease of life, and I thought, wow, I've got a chance here. I've got a big, big chance to do something. And that journey took me, it took me to where I am today. So no, it wasn't easy. But here's the thing. Today, I love those hard parts. I love those challenges. I love the emotional pain, the emotional suffering, because actually it doesn't last long anymore, because I realized the effort I have to go through to be resentful, to be angry, to be pissed off, oh my God, to hate somebody. Do you know how hard that is on me as an individual to expose that much energy? And for what? For somebody that's living their life who is
Doesn't give a shit.
completely doesn't care. And here's the thing, people, no one gives a shit. No one cares. It's you against you. And this is where I've had to really, really learn. And I was talking to Lucy about this today around mindset. I've really learned and continue to learn around mindset, because the the upbringing that I had was, around fear, around judgment, and it was really toxic and very negative. So I picked up a lot of that, and my brain remembered, those things, because we get taught by our parents, our caregivers, how to behave. So we model those things. But I've learned now, going through that pain, going through these experiences, that actually that's where I've done a lot of the healing. So yes, today things are absolutely amazing. I've had an incredible day. I cannot wait for 2023, because it's going to be a fucking blast. It really is. It's going to be incredible. It's going to be even better than 2022. But I know there's going to be a lot more challenges. I know that there is going to be a lot more pain. But today, I just look at it as it's just another
Yeah.
lesson learned.
And because one thing that you've sort of skirted around, which I think is really key to highlight, is the fact people think they hit the brick wall moment. They go through, say, a 12-week or 12 steps or whatever program it is, even like, for example, cardiac rehab, 4 stages. And they think, as soon as I get to this end of this program, I mean, it could be a diet for weight loss, whatever. Okay. But it gets to the end and they think, okay, that's it. And it's kind of like you've reset. And it's like, no, no, no. As you say, it's a journey. You're living the same life. So you still got this backstory. It's just the next pages you are writing. So
Mhm.
you still got this, whatever it is going on in the back of everything. You have to keep going with those tools and techniques.
Mm.
And like you're saying, obviously you do meditation, you do breath work. You found these things really add value to you and really help with everything that's going on in your life and the daily
Mm.
gratitude. And, the fact I know your daughter meditates with you.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Junior does too as well.
Oh, he loves it.
But this is one thing that people don't always realize. They think, oh, okay, I can do a short-term fix. It's not like putting a bandage on.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. One of the things, through this practice and the work that I've done on myself and the work that we do now, it's healthy mind, body, and spirit. It's not just a healthy mind, because everything that we go through from an emotional experience, from a visual, everything that we see, we touch, we smell, everything that we experience every single moment of the day is being remembered in here. So imagine what you would have learned, what you would have gone through, good, bad, ugly, resentful, blah, blah, you name it. Let's just put loving fear and everything that comes underneath that. You would have experienced a ton. So you can't all of a sudden, as you said, in a 4 week, 12 week, 6 months, 12-step program, all of a sudden go, yep, this is me. I'm cured. Are you fuck? That's your ego talking. That's it. Let's be realistic. That's the ego talking, because the ego wants to separate you, from the true self, which is that unconditional love with everything that you are. Because ego is fear, and it knows it's still you, by the way. And this is the tough bit. It's still you. It's the shadow, the light, whatever you want to call it. There are different names to it. But you've got to understand that it's still you. So the beauty around doing that kind of work, and when you finish something, you never finish it. And this is one of the things that I've learned in the 12 step is, people used to say, oh, I've done my 12 steps. I remember when I said that once in a meeting and my sponsor was there and went, oh yeah, I finished. Now that's what I said. I said, I finished my 12 step. It was like last week, blah, blah, blah. My sponsor pulled me aside. He wasn't the type of person to kind of shame, but he pulled me aside and he went, you will never finish your 12 step. I said, you worked your 12 step. I said, but the work begins now. Now that you've worked your 12 step, now is where you put the work, not whilst you're reading that fucking book. Now that you've done, now let's see how you can stay on. And believe me, this is when you start to then have to work healthy mind, healthy body, healthy spirit, healthy mind, healthy body, healthy spirit, because it all goes together. You are a mind, body, spirit complex. You're not just a mind complex. You're not just a body complex. You're not just a spirit complex. You are all three. So you have to, just in the moment that we have, which is just now, is to how do we deal with the mind? So the mindset. So learn things like gratitude, affirmations, positive thinking, especially positive self-talk. It's so easy to go into negative self-talk. But listen, when you do this, it doesn't matter how little or how big it is, you are still sending that messenger, that energy to yourself. You're telling yourself that you're not good enough. If you say to yourself, oh, I'm such an idiot, you're telling yourself you're an idiot. All of these, even the smallest things. And it's just simple practice. But you want to change the mind, you need to start with things like that: gratitude, affirmations, being able to write things down, about how you want to manifest yourself, the goals you want to set, who you want to be every day. This is so important. Body, sleep, nutrition, exercise, hydration as well. These are like 4 things, and I'm sure you can go into so much more, of things that we can do, and I'm not exercising as in just going to the gym, as you know as well. Walking, running, cycling, doesn't matter. Whatever suits you, as long as you cut your own bullshit and stop sitting on a couch going, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. FYI, tomorrow does not exist. There is only today. You keep lying to yourself and telling that you got tomorrow to do this, when in fact, you might never wake up tomorrow. Because when you wake up, it's just today. It's the same thing. It's just now. And when you realize that, you start to realize how fucking precious time is. Time is the most precious thing that we were ever given, because once it's gone, you never get it back. And believe me, I turned around and I went, holy moly, I'm 42 now. And I'm almost halfway through my life, because if I'm to go by my grandparents, most of them go between 84 to 86. So I'm almost halfway. Am I going to waste another minute? Healthy mind. I'm not wasting anything. Healthy body. I go and train at least 4 times a week. Healthy spirit. Just sitting in meditation, connecting with who you are. People go traveling. They go and see gurus. They go and do this. Blah, 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 blah. It's all bullshit. You can go and travel the world. You are never going to find who you are. I see people doing this, and I try to do it myself. I'm going to go and search for myself. Go and look in the mirror. Go and look in the mirror. When you looked in the mirror and you spent a few minutes looking at yourself, you're either going to smile, you're going to go, I love you, or you're going to go, I don't feel too comfortable looking at you. Why?
I have
Start
to
with that question.
I have to say, going traveling solo on the short trips I have
Mm,
has been an eye opener,
mm,
because I mean, yes, I've connected with people, but the first time I did it, I went and go, okay, I've got to go somewhere eat. Okay, where do I go? And you got more scared, and it was trying to
mm,
find somewhere. And then, of course, the last trip I did 2 weeks on my own, and I did not give a shit. I was happy. I was content. I walked down the street and went, I want to eat there. I made friends. I got
mm,
on with people. And you sit there and go, okay, this is only a few years. But when we talk about going to find stuff when you're traveling, it's a change of scene. I think
mm,
these are the key points what you need to have when you go traveling is change the scenery, do what you love,
mm,
and don't be afraid to sit in your own thoughts. So I
mm,
used to sit on the balcony in the morning with my coffee. That's my thing. If I want to get my notebook out, but initially I used to feel really uncomfortable
mm,
because I needed sound, I needed music, I had to have something playing. I couldn't
mm,
just be.
mm.
And
It's that
that,
distraction.
and like you say in the mirror, some people,
Mm,
if you need to change your scenery. But
mm,
be willing to be sat in silence.
mm. And listen, it's the most beautiful thing once you realize that everything you're running away from is you.
Mm.
Because people say, when I'm working with people and we're doing breath work or we're doing meditation, people are like, oh, I can't shut this off. And I was like, you're never gonna.
Or
But
the
what
or
you
the other
can
thing,
do,
with that as well, it's not just them; it's the past of them as well.
mm, yeah, it's
So
it's
both of
everything.
them. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but it's everything. It's the mind, it's the body, it's the spirit. And meditation, breath work, these things allow you to connect, to go within.
Mhm.
And one of the biggest lessons I've learned is everything you are searching for is in
Mhm.
here, is in here. Because when you go within, and I'm pointing here as in the heart, when you go in here is where you find everything. Why? Because we're here to have a human experience and to find love. We're here to have a human experience and to find love.
Mhm.
And I don't mean find love just when you meet somebody, I mean find love when you meet yourself, when you find out who you truly are. And then you can then find love with others. But that's where that painful journey, all of the things that we're struggling with, everything that we go through, when you stop and you learn to realize, wow, I'm okay, I'm here to find love. So what's the solution to that? What's the next step? What do I need to do?
Mhm.
How do I just slow down, get out of your own way, and allow yourself to just trust the process? Put it this way, one of the further things that I've learned is we are creators, right? We're here to create. We created this opportunity, we created these moments, so we create. People don't understand, they don't realize that they, you, I, we all, we are God. We are the creator, whatever that may be. So when you understand that you are that one, but
Mhm.
we're just having individual experiences through that one. And I'm not talking from a religious perspective. I have never read a Bible, never read a Quran. I don't practice anything. I'm talking from personal experience, from
Mhm.
going within. And let me tell you something, just before anybody says anything. I fucking hated God before I came into recovery. I fucking hated God. And I remember saying to myself when I came into my first meeting, I went, what the fuck is God going to do for me? Because my first meeting was in a church and I could see, everything was there in God, in Christ, and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, what the fuck are they going to do for me?
Mhm.
Not realizing that the I got me here,
Mhm.
got me here in the first place. And I'm still here now learning and kind of just understanding, finding love, connecting with love, connecting with everything that I am.
Mhm.
So it's the journey of life is to have that human experience, live big, fail big, but love more importantly. love unconditionally. And especially now in the times that we're in, where we've all had to make different decisions around things. We are all in a very interesting time. But the most beautiful thing about this time, remember the lessons.
Mm.
Everything is teaching us a lesson. But the biggest lesson it's teaching us at the moment is for us to reconnect with love.
Mm.
And we only do that. We go within and we begin to do the self healing, the self connection, the acceptance, and then being able to forgive ourselves for everything that we've done, everything we haven't done, all of the things that we said or never said, thought or never thought. When you allow yourself to do that truly, and you reconnect with that self, that love, that's when we all then start to connect and understand that we're all in power. We are all that power. And that's when things really, really start to change. And we're seeing it now. We're seeing this big shift. People talking about, the great awakening. We're
Mm.
seeing it, and it's tough. It's been really tough, with what's going on. But the most beautiful thing about it is, remember, it's just an experience, and the more you love, the more that shines.
I think the quote is live big, fail big, love unconditionally. I think that sums
That's the one.
everything up. And don't pull the trigger. I think that's above the line.
unless you're doing positive actions.
Clay shooting, you're allowed to pull the trigger.
Yes.
Towards the
Um,
target, we're going to shoot. Because obviously, moving into 2023, we all want to have a fantastic year. So,
mm,
Alex, everything you've done, I thank you. Everything you're doing, the world thanks you. And above all, thank you for sharing your thoughts, questions, and stories. Obviously, your connections are links are in the comments, so they are dropped below, so they are there for everybody. And of course, obviously, people can connect with you. LinkedIn, I
mhm,
believe, is your best space, so obviously can
mhm.
people see the work or even just follow the good stuff. Alex does has his own YouTube, and again, that link is down below, and I'll pop that in the comments as well. So that's all here, so we can help inspire people to keep going for 2023. So if you're feeling dark, you're feeling grey, remember, there is happiness. The rainbow is going to shine.
Yes, absolutely.
And on that note, I will say a fond farewell.
Farewell.